Welcome back to Fighting Game Character Reviews, where I, an amateur fighting game player, parrot what I've heard from other sources. Zangief is the original grappler. He's the big strong man who really wants to get in there, but has trouble doing so. Of course, his appearance in the most recent Street Fighter to date is no exception to this trend. This is a game where zoning is pretty strong as well, making his job quite difficult. However, the inherent high reward of playing a grappler well can prove titillating to some players, giving them a reason to pick the massive muscle man. First of all, as you'd expect someone from his frame, Zangief is big, tough, and slow. He has the highest health in the game at 11,000, so he can take quite the beating, and he needs it to deal with his crippling lack of speed. First of all, unlike the last video, I have some things to say about Gief's normals. 5LP is capable of setting up a true block string, has good range or light normal, and can be used to tick throw. Sadly, unlike in previous appearances, this game's 5LP doesn't anti-air, which kinda stings. 5MP is a fairly good poke that's only -2 on block. While it does have a target combo, it doesn't link properly, so it's hard for me to see why it would be of use. 5HP is a chargeable move with upper body armor. You can strike from mid-screen, and fully charged it's plus on block, so it's kind of a menace, although drive impact can put a damper on it. Pushing with the charged version will result in a hard knockdown, something is quite valuable for a grappler like Gief. 5LK is useful for punishing lows. It's a nice and simple move that doesn't really feel like a 5LK. 5MK is another good poke that can dodge a good amount of lows and has a bit of a disjoint around the tip of the foot. It also has good pushback, meaning you're unlikely to get punished unless you're really close to your opponent. 5HK is a somewhat sluggish but rewarding anti-air with good range. 2LP is a frame 2 jab that is all around solid and plus on block. At closer range, it can be cancelled into PP for some extra damage. 2MP is a simple disjointed counter poke. 2HP is Zangief's other anti-air normal, reaching higher than 5HK and being able to strike against cross-ups, but the forward movement makes it a bit inconsistent. 2LK is the longest range 4 frame currently in the game, and it's quite an important punish tool, despite its lack of reward. 2MK is on the slower end as far as low posts go, but it has quite the disjoint, making it useful in neutral. 2HK is a sweep that inflicts a hard knockdown on the unlucky sod hit by it, useful for punishing slower attacks and getting that sweet hard knockdown. JLP is a fast air. JMP is slower but safer. JHP is decent air to ground, which can be used to start a pretty decent driveless combo. JLK has piddly range, but crosses up and can be used in tick throw setups. It can also IOH, but I wouldn't recommend it. JMK can also IOH, but only against tall people like JP and other Zangiefs, as well as Marissa. Much more useful for this purpose as well, and can be used to set up block strings. JHK is another chargeable move where the charged version is a projectile invulnerable and wall spread. It's great for punishing reversals and command grabs. Now on to Zangief's command normals. 3MP is a weedy frame trap. That's 3A. That was 3 HP, I inputted there. 3MP is a weedy frame trap that can be used to juggle opponents, making it useful as a combo. 6MK is a low crush that can be spaced to be up to +2 on block. 6HP is great for pressure as it's +4 on block and can set up strike throw mix-ups. It's also special cancelable, so you can go for PB right after for a combo. 6HK is a slow but strong overhead, being long-ranged as well, and Zangief's only grounded option for such a move. It is very minus on block, although this can be mitigated by spacing the move properly. 3HK can be used to beat 8 lows or throws, but if you use it for anything else, you're getting punished, no questions asked. On punish, it sends the opponent tumbling, giving quite the corner carry. 2MK is a mid that looks like a low, but is actually a mid. It also has a target combo that I have yet to figure out any practical use for. J2HP is Zangief's primary cross-up tool, which can be hard to anti-air and spikes airborne opponents. JHP is a limited, but useful air-to-air that can be cancelled into J360KK for big damage. The unique thing about Zangief is that he has a lot of throws. 5LP-LK can be held to sacrifice Oki for pure damage. 4LP-LK is what you use when you need to both side switch and get some Oki. 2LP-LK is more powerful but has less Oki. Finally, 3 LPLK is your main tool for getting OP. Also 6 LPLK. And 1 LPLK. They're definitely options, but outclassed generally. Now on to Zangief Special, which I also include a lot of throws, but first it's only non-throw special, the classic and reliable anti-air PP, usually referred to as just Lariat. It also has projectile invulnerability throughout much of its duration, making it a good tool to counter zoning. This is a good combo tool, as I have also previously mentioned a few times. 363, the Screw Pile Driver, SPD for short. It's a classic command grab that leaves you far away from your opponent, meaning you have to get in all over again. Heavier buttons deal more damage, but have less range. With the overdrive version having range between the L and M versions. Great for pushing opponents, and it's really cool when you do land it. You can also drive rush afterward to meaty with a low kick. J360K is an air command grab that is quite similar to SPD but in the air. Hold on a moment. There we go. There isn't really much to say about it except that it has the same lack of Oki. Now stop jumping. C63214K is an alternative command grab. I accidentally put my phone on top of the escape key. That sacrifices many of SPD's pros for superior Oki and a side switch. While difficult to use, it can prove quite the good reward. That was a bit too far away, and it actually did bar 63214K, which is faster at close range. But the farther version has armor until active. It's Zangief's slowest command grab, but makes up for it with its sheer range. Let me just get you out of the corner. The overdrive version of the farther version. Accidentally only pressed one button there. Anyway, the overdrive version of the farther version also has an additional hit of armor, making it a bit better for approaching. 22HK is a counter move that only works against kicks that collide with his hitbox. In other words, a rather impractical move. Finally, let's finish things off with some spectacular supers. 236K is an anti-air command grab that's fairly consistent. 236P punishes fireballs and pulls an opponent. They can also be followed up by various inputs. For casual such as myself, the default jackhammer finisher is the best, but if you want to control space, holding 4 or 6 is the way to go. If you want to combo afterwards, that's what holding P is for. Finally, 720p is a move that I cannot perform without modern mode. Scrub, I know. So, just know that it's a very strong command grab. Now, in a vacuum, Zangief sounds like he has a lot of strong tools, and that's kind of a thing about modern games, where balance is generally better. However, due to the game he's in, some characters just have much better matchup spreads, but I hope you enjoy the low tiers all the same. Final verdict? Buff, but not buffed. Till next time, take care everybody.